Alright, let's be real for a second. Have you ever felt stuck? Like you've tried everything, prayed, worked hard, stayed positive, but nothing seems to change. It's frustrating, right? Now imagine feeling that way for 12 years. Every single day. That was the reality of one woman in the Bible, the woman with the issue of blood. She had every reason to quit. Society had pushed her aside. Doctors had failed her, and her bank account completely drained. But she did something that changed her life in an instant. And today, I want to talk about how you can push past obstacles the same way she did. Because sometimes, the breakthrough you need is just one step of faith away. Now let's paint the picture. This woman, let's call her Faith, because honestly, that's what she had, is dealing with a condition that makes her bleed non-stop. That's not just a medical issue. In her time, it made her an outcast. She wasn't allowed in the temple. She couldn't hug her family. People avoided her like she was contagious. And to top it all off, she spent all her money on doctors, and not one of them could help her. Imagine paying for 12 years of treatment and getting worse instead of better. At this point, she had every reason to just give up. But then, she hears about Jesus. Now let's stop right here. This is where most of us get stuck. She had two choices: stay in her comfort zone, still suffering, still rejected, but safe from criticism. Take a risk, push through the crowd, and reach for healing. And let me tell you, this wasn't just any crowd. Think of a sold-out concert where you're trying to get to the front row, but security is like, nope. That was the scene. People pressing in, shouting, jostling for position. And there she is, weak, drained, and probably feeling dizzy. But she decides, if I can just touch the hem of his robe, I'll be healed. Not if he prays for me, not if he lays hands on me, just a touch. That's some next-level faith right there. Now let's talk about the obstacles she had to push past, because you and I, we face the same kind. Obstacle number 1, the crowd, aka people's opinions. You ever had a dream or a goal, and people around you are like, that's not realistic. Just accept your situation. Yeah, this woman had to push past those voices. She had to move through a literal crowd of people who would have judged her if they knew who she was. Sometimes, the biggest thing standing between you and your breakthrough is fear of what people will say. But at the end of the day, whose opinion matters more, the crowd's or God's? Obstacle number 2, her own doubts. Let's be honest. After 12 years of disappointment, it would have been easy to think, what if this doesn't work? What if I just embarrass myself? Sound familiar? Yeah. Self-doubt is a dream killer, but she silenced those thoughts with one belief. If I can just touch him, I will be healed. Obstacle number 3, physical weakness. Now, if you've ever been sick for even 1 week, you know how exhausting it is. Imagine 12 years. She had every excuse to say, I'm too tired. I'll try another day. But she pushed anyway, because sometimes you don't need perfect strength, just enough to take one more step. And then, it happens. She reaches out. Her fingers brush the edge of Jesus' robe. Immediately, not in an hour, not in a few days. Immediately the bleeding stops. She feels it. She knows she's healed. But then Jesus stops. He turns around and asks, who touched me? The disciples are like, Jesus, everyone is touching you. It's a packed house. But Jesus knows. This wasn't just any touch. And here's the best part. He didn't just let her slip away quietly. He calls her daughter. The only time in the Bible he uses that word. This woman, who had been rejected, avoided, forgotten, now in front of everyone, is publicly restored. Not just healed in her body, but in her identity. So let me Ask you, what's your crowd? What's the thing standing between you and your breakthrough? Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's doubt. Maybe you've tried and failed so many times that you're scared to hope again. But here's the truth. Your faith doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to move you forward. Even if it's one small step. The woman with the issue of blood. She didn't need a grand introduction. She didn't need to have it all figured out. She just needed to reach. If this story spoke to you, if you've ever felt like giving up, I want you to drop a comment below. I'm pushing through. Let's stand together in faith. And hey, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more encouragement. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Just keep pushing. I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong, stay faithful, and remember, sometimes all it takes is one touch.